Greetings and welcome to Let's Talk About Books, baby, where we talk with your favorite LGBTQ authors. This is Anita Kelly, and my guest today is Shireen Magedin. Hello, Shireen.
Hi, Anita. How are you?
I am very well. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much for being on the show. Um, we are worlds apart right now. I'm in the States, and where are you?
I'm in Dubai.
In Dubai. Awesome. How's the weather in Dubai?
It's getting cooler now, but it's not as cool as what you have.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, actually, it's been like kind of summertime. We were at a football game yesterday and it was in the 70s, so it was really nice.
I'm more a metric person, so I know
Okay.
that 29 degrees over here, centigrade.
Okay. I don't know without an app on my phone how to translate that into Fahrenheit, but yeah. So, Shireen, you have had a couple of published books, and your most recent release is called Bloodlines, which
Yes, it ha-
that they came out this past June. Is that correct?
yes, it did.
Can you tell us about this story?
Bloodlines is a sequel to my first book called Lifelines, and it's about these two characters, a doctor and a Interpol agent. Obviously, they are a couple, but they met in the first book. And the first book is actually a journey of these two people. The doctor, Dr. Sarah, comes in as a medical student, a first year medical student. It starts from her first day in medical college and the cases she sees, and she, solves medical legal cases with this Interpol agent who is actually first a local police person, and then when they had problems with their relationship, she went into Interpol so that they could be more internationally recognized. Then Bloodlines addresses the issue that uh, Pakistanis or South Asian people who live abroad, they usually kidnap their children so that the children go and get married to people of their choice. So, in a sense, I've taken that issue and sort of it's more of a adventure, so to say, because the doctor is kidnapped by her parents and her brother, and then they sort of find out stuff, and they go all over the place into the mountains, into the north, and there's trains, planes, and railway stations, and everything.
Yeah.
Everything's in that.
Wow. That is quite an adventure. So, is that it? I mean, it sounds like it's based on some truth and some actual events that happen where children are kidnapped.
Yeah, I try to, just like my first book has medical cases that I have dealt with myself
Okay.
in my college and in my residency, and obviously in my professional life, because I'm a doctor myself.
Okay.
And uh, each and every case that I've dealt with had a little story with it, with people, and a lot of things were actually addressed: the transgenders, the um, uh, gynecological problems, and orthopedic problems, and basic. Even though it's based in Pakistan, I found that a lot of the ignorant questions that some people ask
Uh
are
huh.
actually international rather than only locally there. And then it also addresses how people, actually should look at the medical field.
Hmm. Yeah.
The second one, Bloodlines, is basically on how you should actually let a person live their own life. You
Okay.
this Dr. Sarah's mother is German, but she's still is integrated so much in the times of the Second World War that she hasn't opened her mind out to anything.
Okay. So does
You
this
know,
take place in the current uh like day and time?
well, the first one's in the 70s,
Okay.
mid to late 70s, early 80s, and the second one is mid 80s.
Okay. So it's a
And
couple.
it's a it's a trilogy. I mean, the third one's not ready yet, but the third one is in the mid 90s.
Oh, okay. So we are progressing through the decades.
Yes.
Okay. And does this practice still go on today where children are kidnapped and kind of forced into a life that they don't really want?
It happens, though now Britain has taken a stand. It used to happen a lot in England. I don't know about America myself, but I know about England because I've had a few friends that it happened to. But they have now NGOs, and the government is putting their foot down. These people have, the children have rights because obviously they are British citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And if at all they're taken out of the country without their own consent, I think usually the parents say, "Well, we are taking you for a holiday," and then they take the passports away when they reach their destination and all that, which is really tricky.
Yeah.
But as I said, now they have uh, call centers in all the embassies,
Okay.
and these people have their own lives and they have their own rights now. And
Okay.
it doesn't only happen in Pakistan, it happens in India, in the Arabian countries, in Sri
Mhm.
Lanka, all these South Asian places.
Okay. All right. And
So I thought it would be nice to address it, to see how a person can get out of it.
yeah. So Dr. Sarah, and what is the name of the police officer?
Her name is Agent Tanya.
Agent Tanya. And so they meet and obviously fall in love with each other and try to create a life together in Lifelines, right? Um,
Yes,
but Dr. Sarah's parents have other ideas for her. Um, and so um, that's where the adventure begins then, right?
yes, in Bloodlines.
Okay, in Bloodlines, so Agent Tanya tries to intervene and catch up with the love of her life. Um,
Exactly. It's
okay.
sort of like a chase all through the mountains and the riverbeds and the
Wow.
south in
So,
the desert.
so were you familiar with all of the terrain and all of these areas, or did you have to do some research?
Well, I was very lucky. My father was in the army, and we moved every 2 years, and he loved exploring. So he used to take us by car to all over all over these places, especially in the northern areas. Not everybody was allowed in the northern areas because at the time they were considered tribal areas that had been segregated by the British. But now, obviously, a lot of more people are allowed to go there. But we, through my father's military contacts, were able to go all over the place, and it's really beautiful. Because I think it's even more beautiful than Switzerland, because all the craggy mountains and the second highest mountain in the world is there. And
Wow.
well, let's say I've traveled all through this where whatever place has been mentioned, I've traveled there.
That's awesome. That saved you a lot of time on research.
It did, it did.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my third book, there's also a lot of travel, which is, I'll just give you a hint that my parents and my whole family, my parents and my siblings, when we were kids and the roads were still open, when they didn't have all these weird wars, we did the journey thrice by car from Pakistan to Austria. My mother's Austrian. So we went from Pakistan to Iran, to Afghanistan, Turkey, Bulgaria, Yugoslavia at the time, and then Austria, Germany, etc. We went by car. So I really love that there are such good memories that I've incorporated this journey into the book, into the third book.
Yeah, that sounds like quite a trek. that you made several times. And in my mind, I'm envisioning the Sound of Music. Um,
Because it said Austrian.
yeah, yeah, and even before that, like when you were talking about, making your way through the mountains and hiding and it just I don't know, that's what came to mind for me, but now it kind of solidifies that for me.
Yeah, well, my mother and my father, they just loved exploring. And my father, he would take us to all these major cities. And it used to be a standard operating procedure that he used to take us into the museums. And then when we used to leave the city, we used to be quizzed on what we saw.
Oh, I love
So,
I love that you used the term it was standard operating procedure to go to the museum because that's such a military term, right?
yeah, it is. Well, I worked for Pfizer also. SOPs were also very much there.
Ah, got it, got it. Okay. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, but in any case, we I think we had a very well-rounded education due to my father's love for exploration, history, geography, geopolitical incidences, etc. We had to know the names of every president and every prime minister, and when we passed through the country, we weren't allowed to sleep in the car. Nuh-uh.
That is wonderful. That is an education that you cannot gain by sitting, in a classroom for sure.
Not at all. And my brother and I, we love museums now. A couple of years ago, when we didn't have this COVID stuff, we went to the British Museum, and his wife called us maybe a couple of hours later. Where are you? We're in the museum. Okay, fine. Then she calls her after another couple of hours. Where are you? We're in the museum. So the security guy had to kick us out, because everything we saw, we were just discussing it. It was so much fun.
Oh, that's great. So you and your brother are very close, it sounds like.
All three siblings. We have a baby sister also. We are all three very close.
Oh, that's so nice. And I'm sure she's not a baby, but it's nice that you still call her your baby sister.
Well, she's 10 years younger than me, and my brother and I have always been very protective to her.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Protective, actually. So yeah, she's our baby.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So, you mentioned that you have a third book coming out.
Yes,
Do you have a name for that yet?
that will be called Heartlines,
Heartlines. Nice.
because it will be dealing with child smuggling and slavery, I guess, white slavery.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow, you are dealing with some pretty heavy topics.
Yeah, well, I thought, uh, if I'm going to write, might as well, put a bit of information in it, and in a entertaining manner, so that people are more or less to create an awareness, and maybe in the long run see what can be done for it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It really is. I guess from watching some, TV shows, I understood that this was a practice, but I didn't know that it was so prevalent still.
It is actually, especially with the West, they buy the babies actually, um, and well, to give them their due, they usually think that the children are genuine orphans, but many children are just kidnapped from their homes.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, or if there's a disaster area, just like if there's
Yeah.
flood or a earthquake or something like that, these children are harvested more or less.
Oh my goodness.
And no one's asked whether they have their parents still there, or whether they have anybody to support them, anything. They're just picked up and bundled off.
Oh, how awful. Oh, poor
And a
parents.
lot of the children, just like in the north of Pakistan, the children are very European looking, because at the time of Alexander the Great, a lot of his soldiers stayed there. So there are a lot of children with blue eyes and gray eyes and blonde hair and
Really?
all. Yeah, and so they are very much in demand in the Western countries.
Oh my goodness, that is sad. So, when can we expect to see Heartlines out on the market?
Well, my publisher had said the end of the year, but I don't think it will be because I'm at the moment on the last two chapters,
Okay.
and to tell you the truth, I'm one of those writers that doesn't know what's going to happen in the next chapter until I actually sit down and write it.
Okay.
And
A
my
pantser.
a pantser exactly, and it's so much fun. Actually, it's more fun than writing, making a roadmap or something like that. And my editor, she is always, she's saying, you make me sit at the seat of my pants because I really am excited to know what's going to happen next.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So if my editor is that is like, it must be okay.
That is like really probably the highest praise you can get if your editor is just so enthralled and waiting for, the next chapter. That's awesome.
Definitely, I find it's a big, what you call it, compliment
Yeah.
because I never thought I would be a writer. And it's my publisher, who's a friend of mine. She just said, "Why don't you try it?"
Yeah.
So I started off by writing Xena fan fiction,
That's great. Oh my goodness.
and I just wrote one. And my friend, who's Mary D from Oszip Publishers, Publishing, she just put it on her website, and she said, "There's a trifecta over here." I said, "What's that?" She said, "First time author, first time writing fan fiction, and first time getting an award." So,
Wonderful. Which
so
award did you receive?
there she has these Zippy awards on her website,
Oh, okay.
just to um, acknowledge the better writers and all that.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. And then from there, it sort of snowballed from there.
Yeah. So that's how you got your start then.
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's like a fairy tale.
Well, it would be even more fairy tale like if people would just read the book.
Well, hopefully, people will hear more about your books by listening to the podcast, and
Definitely.
yeah, that would be wonderful. Um,
Um, I would like to present you with my books if you'd like to have an ebook.
sure, that would be wonderful. I have not read them, but I would love to. Definitely. Thank you.
I'll send them to you by email.
Yeah, that would be
And
great.
if you like, I'll even send you my fan fiction.
Yes, absolutely. I love fan fiction. Yeah, I know many authors who really got their start writing fan fiction, and especially writing Xena fan fiction. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
That,
um,
that's so much fun.
yeah. I have I have an idea for writing fan fiction for Perot, Agatha Christie's Perot.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have some ideas. I just have to find a platform for it. So
Well, if it's LGBTQ, then my friend, she's very. Oh no, she's more into Xena rather than anything else. But in any case, I really appreciate that my editor and my publisher was so encouraging to me.
yeah.
I never really come to this point, to tell you the truth.
Oh, that's wonderful. That really is. It's nice to have folks behind you, almost like your cheerleaders.
And I have a friend who's a Pulitzer Prize winner, Taylor Ricard.
Okay.
He she's also author. She's written multiple books and all that, and she has been really encouraging me in the sense that I think I have sort of evolved as a writer with her help.
Oh, that is wonderful to have that nice friend behind you. Um,
Exactly, because
yeah.
I don't have any formal training or anything where writing is concerned. It just happens. It just flows down.
So you were you were trained formally as a doctor, as a physician.
Yes, I'm a pediatrician.
Oh, nice. And do you still work in that arena?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, great.
I can tell you there's an influenza epidemic nowadays.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Unbelievable.
please keep wearing your mask because COVID's not gone.
No, it's not at all. Not at all. Yeah. Nope. You are so right. I know so many people who have this new variant, and it's pretty wicked.
Yeah, these people I live in an apartment, and I have to actually um, stress the fact that they have to wear masks when they come with me into the lift. Otherwise, I don't allow them to come in.
That's great.
So
Yeah.
I'm the cranky old woman of the building.
No, can totally understand that. When I'm in close quarters, I always pull my mask out of my pocket. Not so much when I'm outside, but yeah, definitely in close quarters, like a lift, or as we
It doesn't
say in
make sense
this.
outside, but inside, yes.
Yeah.
Everybody is coughing and sneezing, and oh
Yes.
well.
Yeah, and I don't know about where you are, but here in the States, the regular flu that happens at this time of year has already started, and that has been like pretty significant. Like the symptoms are pretty major compared to some milder symptoms that we've experienced in the last few years.
You're right, and every uh, ninth child out of 10 that I test for influenza, they are positive.
Oh my goodness.
So it's pretty bad, and I was getting a bit. Of course, I'm vaccinated,
Mm-hmm.
but children they tend to cough into my face also, even though I've got a mask. You can't stop the poor kids.
Yep. Oh boy. Oh my goodness.
Parents are very apologetic. I said, look, you can't say anything. It's a
Yeah.
little kid. You
Yeah.
can't say anything to the
Yeah.
poor kid.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. That is, we need more.
Well,
Yeah.
I,
So,
I love my job, so that's okay.
oh, that's wonderful. That is like not doing work at all if you love what you're doing, right?
Exactly, exactly. And the kids love coming to me because I have stickers and lollipops in my pocket. So
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
we play around. I have Tom and Jerry playing on the TV,
Oh,
and, and they're pretty relaxed. The parents, thank goodness, have said that ever since they've started using me as the pediatrician, the child has always been relaxed instead of coming and kicking and screaming.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I remember when I was a little, our doctor that we went to always had lollipops for us. And, I still remember that. Is
That's good.
Yeah.
Uh, Yesterday, a little Filipino boy came into the clinic and he turned around and said to his mom, "Oh, Mama, look, the doctor's my best friend.
Oh,
See?" And that was so cute. And then he came and hugged me.
oh, that's so sweet. Oh,
Yeah, it is. I mean,
yeah.
these are just little things that make your life more shiny, I guess.
Definitely the perks of the job, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, nice. Um, so Shireen, what is your favorite book of all time?
You did ask me that before, and I really can't think about that because I love reading and I have read so many books in my time, but I loved The Three Musketeers and Oliver Twist and most of Charles Dickens' books.
Yeah, nice.
And
The
I mean,
classics.
the classics more or less. And yet, I don't mind reading Mills and Boon's romance sometimes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or Barbara Carr.
I just started reading after all this time Patricia Cornwell. Um,
Oh yeah, I've read hers too.
um, I just read her first one, and then that was before like they had cell phones because there are no cell phones, I think, in that book. Um, and yeah, it's I liked it so much. I'm reading the second one right now. And her latest, which is like, I don't know, her 35th or something, just came out the other day, you know?
She has the energy.
She does. And I just saw that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to create a TV show for her out of her Kay Scarpetta books. So that's nice. So,
That's cool. That's really nice.
yeah, maybe we can hope that for your books. Those would translate into a nice movie or show. I can see it.
That's what my sister says. She said I can just see this in a TV show or a movie. But
Definitely.
let's get the people to read it first and have an opinion.
All right. All right. We'll start there. So, did you have to edit much out of your books before, they went to the publishing house? And, what was that like for you? Like, I can't imagine, like, that's your art.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the first one, yes, because I had a whole lot of medical cases in it, and well, my editor wasn't very happy with the gory stuff, so
Oh,
I had to edit that out a bit. I mean, sometimes a doctor doesn't even think that it's gory.
yeah, it's your life. You see it every day, right?
Exactly. But that wasn't too much because I had actually given her this book as a whole. So then there weren't many characters in it. There was just the medical stuff and how the people were going. And then she said, well, why don't you create some characters for it? Sarah and Tanya were born. So then I sort of rewrote the whole thing chapter-wise. I would just send her a chapter every week.
Mm-hmm.
And she would then send it back to me and edit it out and all that. And that wasn't too painful, actually, after that, because then my book became character-centric rather than case-centric.
Yeah, yeah.
And then again, for Bloodlines, it was the same thing. I just sent her one chapter at a time, which I'm doing the same with Heartlines also.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic.
So yeah, it was in the beginning. I used to actually feel a bit bad, but not very bad. But I used to tease my editor that you don't like the gory stuff,
She has a weak stomach.
Probably. But anyway, I've toned things down quite a lot.
Okay.
So I thought it would be fun, have really gory stuff.
She didn't think so.
She didn't think it's not a horror story.
So what was like an early experience in your life when you kind of figured out that language has power?
Well, when I was in school, I used to be in the debate team.
Okay.
And then went on to college also. That's actually the spoken word rather than the written word.
Yeah.
However, whenever my teacher used to give us some essays in class, it used to be the standard, our vacation or this or that or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the standard subjects and headings.
Yes.
And I wouldn't write a run-of-the-mill essay. I would just go and let my fantasy take me wherever. I used to spin the whole thing around. And apparently my English teacher was very happy with me. And without my knowing, she sent a few of my essays in for a competition.
Wow.
And to my surprise, I won the first prize. So I think that was the first time.
That is awesome. And that is so great for a young person to have that experience.
It is, but I didn't actually think about it. But I have been, during my time, I've written a lot for newspapers, mostly medical information, but in a quirky manner,
mm-hmm.
targeting the parents, the mothers, so to say.
Okay.
And well, I've got I got some articles in the American Journal of Medicine and the British Journal of Medicine. About
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
only 15 or 16, I guess.
Only.
well, they're published, and then of course I write for the German medical, so for the German Emirates Club over here. I have an article every month. So, but my most creative writing is when I need to admit a person in the hospital and I have to write for the insurance companies.
Don't tell me that. That's where I work.
well, sometimes if you just write the patient has fever
Yeah.
and needs to be admitted, they say, well, if there's fever, give some paracetamol and send the kids home.
Yep. Yep.
But we have to write in detail that the child has bronchitis, there's RSV, there's child is not breathing properly, and this and that and everything. And well,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
creative,
unfortunate you have to justify, your decisions, right?
yeah,
As
creative writing.
yeah. Yep. That's great. That is great.
So my boss always used to say to me, well, we need a medical report, tell Shireen to write it.
Wonderful. So they know what you're capable of, right?
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But nobody's read my book.
Oh, they haven't.
No, I mean, my biggest fans are my brother and my sister.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. Did they like it? Did they give you good feedback?
Yeah, actually, even though it's about two women and all that, my brother, he has been buying books and passing them on to my mother's friends. And he's sending me feedback from them, where they say, oh, this is a book that we can't even put down. It's so interesting.
Oh,
So I felt really nice for his, encouragement.
yeah. Heck yeah. That's wonderful. That's great. Um, so, um, let's see. So, for our listeners, I want to make sure that they know the correct titles. We have Lifelines, which is the first one, and then
Yes,
Bloodlines, and then Heartlines will be
which is
released.
on its way,
Yep,
under construction.
under construction, soon to be released. All right.
Yes.
And where can our listeners find your books? Online, can they purchase them? Do you have a
Yeah,
website?
and you can't buy from my website, but you can get it from Amazon, all the Amazons, and Barnes and Noble,
Okay.
Apple Books, Kobo Books, I
Okay.
think, and Bella Books.
And Bella Books. Okay. Awesome. That is awesome. Great. So a
Thank you.
variety of areas to find your books. Again, that's Lifelines, Bloodlines, which Bloodlines came out this past summer, and a new one called Heartlines will be out soon. Uh,
Probably in the beginning of next year.
awesome, which will be here before you know it.
Uh,
Uh,
well, Lifelines also is a 2022 book. It was published in January.
oh, okay. So Lifelines came out in January, and then in June, Bloodlines came out. Great,
Yes.
great. So, Shireen, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Well, I just say if you have a dream, follow it. Don't say I cannot do it. Don't listen to your inner voice,
Nice.
because sometimes the inner voice is negative. Be positive and just go ahead.
Yep. Those are excellent words to live by. Definitely are. A lot of times we get in our own way too much, right?
Exactly. We are our own enemy
Yeah, it's true.
to say.
It's true. Our negative voices really can hold us back. So, yeah, that is great advice. So, well, that is all the time we have for today. I'm Anita Kelly, and thanks again to Shireen Magedin for
Thank you for.
thank you for being here all the way from Dubai. Um, and thanks to our listeners for joining. Let's talk about books, baby. Until next time, may your journey be lighthearted, peace be plenty, and be safe, folks.